To the Outspoken Sportscast here. This is episode 109. And as you can see, we have a new member of the show. I have invited Craig to join the show. Not only one, because he's hilarious, but number two, he loves sports and knows sports. And it's just a perfect match. And he also loves to talk. So you'll definitely hear that. And we want to welcome Craig. And Craig, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself on the show.
Thank you, sir. Well, baseball is obviously the main sport, but I follow pretty much everything. Baseball and NFL are the regular wheelhouse, but I kind of dabble in everything draft, college sports. I kind of follow all that and keep that up to date and try to keep on top of everything as it goes down. So it's something I've done my whole life as I've been in huge into sports. So that's just something that I try to focus on and get into when I'm not working or doing anything like that. So
Awesome. Well, yeah, me and Jeff, or me and Craig, I might call you Jeff because on accident because Jeff's always on here. But me and Craig actually work together. That's where we met. So, give us a little rundown on who your teams are. You're wearing a San Francisco Giants
yeah,
jersey
I'm a
there.
diehard Giants fan, and then pretty much everything else is local. Dallas Cowboys, Stars, and then Michigan is where I was born, so I follow Michigan in college football, and college basketball and stuff like that. So NBA, I kind of follow it just to keep along, but really don't have anything that I follow. Um, but I keep up to it. That's about it, though. But baseball and football and hockey are definitely the three that I really get into. And I've been a Giants fan since 1987. Um, Never lived there, never been to California, just liked a bunch of the people that played. And I mean, we went through a bunch of bad years, but now kind of on the upswing. So got the three world championships in 5 years, and then last year 107 wins, most in baseball. So we're
Oh,
on
look
the
now.
we're on the right track. So
All right, on the up and up there. And it pains me because you did take the Rangers out in one of those World Series, but
yeah, that was
that happens. So unfortunately. And well, I can relate to you. Obviously, I mean, everyone knows on here, and I'm a Packer fan, and I've never been to Wisconsin, so you know.
yeah.
Um, but I'll be green and yellow till the day I die. So, well, all right, guys. Craig will be on the show on a regular, usually on Tuesdays. Jeff just couldn't make it today, so I said, "Hey, why don't you go and jump on in? We'll fill you in here." And Jeff is actually at the Colorado Rocky game. He won tickets for that today, so hope you're enjoying your time. All right. The spotlight of the week this week is the MLB. We'll do the MLB rule changes, a couple of that, go through the divisions of baseball as baseball kicks off. Very excited this season for that. And we'll get back to that just right after this. All right. Well, as we just talked about, MLB is kicked off, and we are super excited. This is the first time I've actually been excited for Ranger season in a long time. We've added some key pieces over the off season, and not expecting us to go and win 107 games like your Giants or win the World Series. I'm just hoping for to break even and not finish last in the division. Um, yeah, we're gonna go through the MLB rule changes here. Some big ones have been changed, and one of the big ones, Craig, is the shift change. Is that actually taken over yet? Because I thought I just saw a shift on the screen a while ago while I was watching some
no that
highlights.
next year is when that officially goes where they can't use it. So they can use it this year. You can do however you want to. It'll be just like last year, but next year is when that goes away. Everything else is pretty much kicked into effect this year. Um, and that the expanded playoffs and the Otani rule and all that has gone into effect, but they gave him one more year and the DH, the generic DH.
Yeah.
But everything, the shift side of it goes in next year.
Cool. And we'll get into all those here coming up. I'm not a fan of the shift. I don't like it. I honestly, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think the shift ends up putting less balls in play. And we talk, Major League Baseball is wanting to find a way to bring in more fans, and they're trying to change this, and they're they've added a second base, person on second base, and extra innings and all that stuff to change the game up and try and make it faster and funner for fans, which I don't really like. I think they need to go back to regular baseball on the shift side of it. I think you'll see more balls in play. Joey Gallo becomes a superstar now because he gets killed in the shift. I want him back in Texas because now he's very useful. Do you like the shift in baseball? How do you feel about that?
No, I mean, it takes a lot of stuff out of play. But I mean, there's ways to beat it. Today the Giants got their first 2 runs by bunting 2 balls on the third baseline, and the guy threw it into the seats because there was nobody over there, and they're trying to make a play, and they didn't make it. So if you can get the ball down, then they'll stop doing it. But for the most part of it, it makes it very difficult for hitters to. I mean, I've even seen them stack 4 outfielders on people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we're not playing slow pitch softball; we're playing Major League Baseball. So, to have guys in right field and a second baseman, and if you're trying to keep score, the third baseman fielded it and he was in right field. How what are we doing?
Yes.
So yeah, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to go back to it. Put them where they play, and let the ball play. Now, I mean, if you want to stack your third baseman and slide him over to short and throw the short, and he's still on the right side of the bag, then that's fine. But keep everybody on the side of the field they're supposed to be on.
I totally agree. And you look at, I don't know why teams don't do that. Like you said, bunt to third base. There's nobody there. Do this, do that. Hit the ball to the opposite field. It just doesn't seem like anybody really adjusted to doing so. And I think
throwing 95-mile-an-hour heaters inside, it's hard to bunt. But I mean, because they pitch accordingly. When they have people stacked over there, you don't see pitches that go the outside. Everything's in to where you can't get it out there. But it's something you should work on, definitely.
Definitely. All right. Well, one of the biggest things that they did is they added 12-team playoffs instead of just 10, and this means 40% of teams will now make the playoffs. I don't know if that's good. Some people might say it's watering it down or whatever. So this is how it's going to work, I believe. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is what I pulled up. The 2 best division winners will receive a bye, and the third best, along with 3 wildcard teams, will play in best of 3 series with the higher seed taking home field. Do I have that correct? Okay.
But not your 3 like before. It was your 3 or your 2 best teams. Now it's first and second place in each division make it. So say the AL East has got 4 teams that could win 95 games or more. 2 of those guys are going to be out on the outside looking in, and somebody from the West could get in with 84 wins. Because that's how it is. So it's going to be first and second place in each division. The top 2 division winners will get a bye, and then 3 will go play whatever. And then when they advance, they don't reseed them. So if the lower seed wins, if 6 beats 3, well then you might get, or 3 beats 6, then the first place team might be playing the top seed. So that unfortunately doesn't help, but it does give the teams that had the best 2 records time to get their pitching staffs in line. So you're not having to use your third or fourth guy to start a series because you pitched your guys in the play-in series.
Right. And then so that's huge. I mean, it opens up for maybe the Rangers sneaking in there somehow. They've expanded rosters, which is always great for teams. Universal DH. I love this. You might as well. You're a National League fan. I'm an American League fan. I like the DH. I think it's great. I don't want to see my pitcher get up there and swing at 3 pitches and strike out. Is it fun when every once in a while a pitcher hits a home run? Yeah, but doesn't happen very often. I like the DH. A lot of people don't. I mean, this is going to benefit your team. I think you would like it, right?
Yeah, 100%. You don't have very many guys like Bumgarner or Kershaw that are gonna average 220 or even them. I mean, yeah, Kershaw and Bumgarner hit home runs every once in a while, but it was 5 a year.
Yeah.
There's nobody like Ohtani hitting 40.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. So yeah, the DH, you had to scramble a little bit because this rule was made late, and so the National League teams had to scramble to go sign some people to expand the roster a little bit and get you one that you could fit. But it helps out a lot. The roster expansion, to my knowledge, is only for the first month. After that, it'll go back to what it was.
Oh, okay.
That's not a permanent thing. That's just because we started so late and we only got 3 weeks of spring training. So the roster expansion will go away. The way I understand it, will go away after into May.
Okay, I did not see that. That's good to know. I thought they were just expanding rosters, but it makes sense. They've got to be able to give some leeway for such a short start.
It's just major injuries from these guys not having the full time to warm up and go on about their deal.
Right, and that's something they mentioned on the broadcast earlier, that these pitchers don't get too worried if they go out and get rocked right away because they had such a short time to prepare themselves to get ready to start.
Of teams are about 85 pitches are what they're cutting them off at for the first couple starts to try to not tag elbows and shoulders and stuff like that. So you're not, if you look at the box scores, these guys aren't going 4 or 5 innings. Ohtani went 4 2/3 last night, I think. So
and looked good, looked fantastic. Go ahead and give us that Ohtani rule. It's interesting that they named it after him, but I don't know who else is going to be using this other than him.
That's the confusion. You made a rule. I'd like to know how the Angels pulled that off. Hey, we got a real good idea. We're gonna have a rule that says our guy, when we pull him out of the game, he can still hit. What? No, that doesn't make any sense because that's the only team. Because see, last year when they pitched him, there was a lot of times they didn't put him in the lineup because what happens if he goes out there and goes 2 1/3 and gets rocked? And now we don't have a DH. And so they didn't use him a lot. Now there's nothing stopping them from using him. And so you're going to give the AL MVP, 20 more swings, 30 more swings. I just don't know how they pulled it off because they're the only team that's going to use it.
Yeah.
I mean,
going
to use it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't see this in baseball. You don't see, this hasn't been done since. Yeah. I mean, he's doing things greater than Babe Ruth did. And I think the sad part is that a lot of people who don't even know who this guy is that aren't avid MLB fans. You know what I mean? So good kudos for them. It sucks for my team. We got to play this team in our division. But I don't. Maybe they did. I think they just did it because the more this guy gets out there, the better for the sport.
Yeah, wait till his contract comes up, though. He's got a 4.1 WAR in on the mound and a 4.5 on the deal. His WAR is 9. Anybody else got a WAR of 9 in MLB? No, I don't think so. So good luck with that. He's going to break the bank.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to pay him up, and
they
probably will in LA. They always, I don't know, they always have some money out there, but they don't ever win. So I don't.
Pay a bunch of guys that don't ever.
Yeah, that our Pujols contract was garbage. I mean, he did nothing for them.
I was like, he's going to be 50, and the contract's over. It's ridiculous.
Not good. The big issue last season was the sticky substance, the sticky tack for pitchers. I think the biggest thing was they implemented that midway through the season. They gave the pitchers no chance to acclimate to pitching the ball with nothing on it. So they're cracking down a little harder on that this year, I believe. I don't know if we'll see much of a difference. I mean, the pitchers did not get, like we just talked about, did not get their regular time to get going before you would jump into a regular season. But I don't think it'll be that big of an issue this season because they've already done it. It's not something that they've changed mid-season on them again. So I'm not sure it affects spin rate and all that crap. But I don't think it'll be that big of an issue going forward once pitchers since they're so used to it already.
Yeah, and last year was such a deal. Like everybody knew it was happening. It wasn't like we just discovered, oh hey, these guys are using something. They already knew, and it became basically too much of an advantage. So they had to make a rule and deal. I haven't seen the inspections that they went through last year at all this year. I mean, obviously we're 2 days into the season, but I haven't seen them pull anybody to the side and look. So I don't know if they're doing it before the game and just going with it, or if that's something that'll start as the season goes on again. But it is something they're going to keep an eye on. I mean, if they get something, if there's a ball that's out of play or something and it rolls out and it's got something on it, somebody's going to have to answer for it.
Right. Do you like that? Do you care about that sticky substance? Do you prefer the pitchers not have it?
I mean, listen, it's just like these guys hitting. They've all done something. Like it's the stealing of the signs, the sticky tack. It's all, everybody's doing something. It's who gets caught.
Right.
Astros got caught with the sign deal. If they were the only one doing it, I'd have had a bigger deal with it. But we all know that they're not the only ones. They're just the ones that got caught, or made it more obvious than everybody else.
Yeah.
The sticky, I mean, if you can, there's not a guy out here that's gone out there especially in Colorado, where the ball doesn't break as much because of altitude difference and everything like that. And you got these guys. I mean, look at Justin Verlander. He goes from Detroit, where he was a Hall of Famer, and he goes to Houston, and all of a sudden his velocity kicks up 2 miles an hour and his spin rate doubles. What?
Yeah.
You're on your career, and your spin rate doubles, and your miles per hour go up.
Right.
I'm confused. Same with Greinke. Greinke's spin rate goes up, velocity goes up, and these guys leave, and it's not the same. So either the pitching coach in Houston should be going to the back in the Brinks truck up and saying, "Pay me,
yeah,
guys, career ended," or they're doing something that is helping these guys. So I think everybody has something. It's just a matter of what they have and how much they use it and what they get away with.
right. And I really honestly think it really depends on how it affects baseball. One year, baseball didn't have enough home runs, so they juiced the balls. There's talks about juiced balls. They deadened the balls back, and now the pitchers have the advantage. So now we got to even this out, and it's a bunch. It's whatever
and
baseball feels.
Yeah, and it's what they're using. I mean, obviously, you've seen these guys wipe their deal. Rosin, everything like that. Pine tar, yeah, okay. The sticky tack is basically like having a wide receiver glove on your hand, and the ball hangs on it. That's you have to draw a line at some point. The rosin, the pine tar, the whatever, that's fine. But the sticky tack, the stuff that certain teams had that other teams didn't, that's the stuff where you got to draw the line. If everybody has access to the same stuff, then that's fine. But there was teams that had something that was like stick 'em on their hand trying to throw a ball, and yeah, when rev rates and spin rates go through the roof, it's an unfair advantage. So
Right.
yeah,
I understand it, and Jeff actually brought up a great idea when we talked about this a while back when this last season when the sticky stuff started happening. He thinks that to come to a mutual ground is they need to agree on one or two sticky substances that every team's allowed to have, and if you go beyond that, then it's against the rules. Other than that,
exactly.
you
want to use rosin or whatever, that's
Right.
fine, but sticky tack or super glue or whatever we're using that really tackifies the whole ball and is genuinely obvious, that's where you got to draw the line.
Exactly. All right. Well, Craig, you mentioned something about going through the divisions. So you want to take this over here? I just have the divisions out here and the teams. Is it something you wanted to go through specifically with them, or?
No, I mean, it's just like I said though. I mean, like in the American League, you got the East is going to be brutal. You got
Oh
four
yeah,
teams that are going to win 90 games plus, and two of them are going to they're not going. You know,
yeah,
whoever finishes third and fourth, whether it's 94 wins, 95 wins, two of them are going to stay home. And you know, the AL West, you got Seattle who won 90 last year, and I think they got better. Anaheim, if Trout stays healthy, they can win. Oakland obviously is having a fire sale; they're out.
yeah. They're out.
Texas, I think, is going to go up 15 games,
Yeah,
20 at most. So if they win 80, that's deal. I think their win total is probably 75 is more of a realistic, you know. So I think the West is basically two teams.
two teams there.
You know,
Yeah,
I think that well, three. You know, the Angels, the Astros, and Seattle. So three for two spots there. And then you know, the Central. I think you better watch out for Detroit because I'm telling you right now, that team, if they didn't have just a horrific April last year, they would have been around last year. And now they've got Torkelson and Riley Green and these guys that are coming up, and they have three young arms that are just ready to deal. And you know, Green hurt himself at the end of spring training. He's got a foot injury, but they go out and get Austin Meadows from Tampa on the last day of spring training. So I think that team is with AJ Hinch. I think that team is primed to, you know, because Minnesota's so Jekyll and Hyde.
yeah.
And I mean, the White Sox are young; they're going to be okay. The rest of that division, Kansas City's rebuilding. You know, it's Baltimore is. I mean, they're just. I think the Tigers can really make some noise in that division.
Interesting.
And if they, you never know. National
Would
League isn't as
would
open.
would the Tigers real quick? Would they be your kind of underdog that no one's kind of talking about? Because I mean, Detroit for a while. I mean, I haven't even counted Detroit because they're not good, like the Royals and
Well, but how do you get better? That's the draft, and they've
right.
had all these drafts, and they're here now. You know, in baseball, when you draft, it's not like the NFL. It's not they're coming in right now and their deal. You're looking at 4 years, 5 years before they get here. So all these seasons that they've struggled, they've had 90 and 80 and 90 losses, and gone through four managers. I think they've got continuity in the manager spot now. And I think all these guys, they got three young pitchers that have been drafted in the last 4 or 5 years. Torkelson, Green, you know, and you still got Cabrera, who's going to get 3,000 hits and doubles.
Yeah,
and
he's like 12 hits away or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, I mean, that team is, if it's not this year, it's definitely next year.
And this, Craig, is exactly why I brought you on, because some of these guys you're naming, I have no idea, but I'm glad you're here because that's fantastic. You're right. AL East, 4 teams can make it. You know, 4 teams could win it. I think they said the Blue Jays are the favorite to win this year. That division, they look really good. The Yankees are always competitive. The Rays somehow their salary is like 10 million, and they still somehow get to the championship.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are looking for a bounce back year. Orioles are, been in a rebuild for a long, long time. So if I had to say a winner, I would probably go with the Rays or the Jays in that division. I think White Sox will take that over in the AL Central. The Guardians, now that they're named the Guardians, my bad. They're a talented team. Can they put it together? I'm not sure. I would love to see the Tigers. I think that's awesome. I was just counting them out, and they I believe they just won today.
Yeah, they won on a walk off by Baez. They go get Javi Baez, and
Royals. I don't even count them. And the Twins are hit or miss. They remind me. even if they were to make the playoffs, I'm not scared of the Twins really. And then
Here they win next year, 65.
Yeah,
You never know.
And then Astros, Mariners, maybe Angels. We'll see. All right, let's jump into the NL here. Let's go to the East, I guess. Braves, Marlins, Mets, Phillies, Nationals.
That's going to be another one that you got. The Braves get Acuna back. They're going to be strong. The Phillies, that lineup is ridiculous. They don't have a lot of pitching, but that lineup from 1 to 9. I mean, Castellanos DH today. They're like, oh hey, this guy that's like one of the MVP candidates. He's just going to DH in our lineup. It's the Mets went out and spent a ton of money. Scherzer. They get the pitching, and they got some big deal. They signed the shortstop to that huge contract. So I think that division is going to be, again, you could have 4 teams that go for 2 spots. The West is 3 for 2. The Colorado and Arizona are both in a rebuild. And really, to be honest with you, I have no idea what San Diego's doing. One day they're trying to trade, Hosmer, and the next day they're trading for Sean Manaea and Rogers from the Twins, and they're trying to, but yet their star shortstop's out for 2 months because he wanted to go ride a motorcycle like Evel Knievel and break his wrist.
They're very Jekyll and Hyde. Last year they had all this hype going into the season, and it was just a flop. They didn't even make the playoffs.
No, how that guy kept his job is beyond me.
I figured they would switch, but they didn't. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe the clubhouse likes the guy. I don't know why he's still there, to have all that talent to get these guys there and just completely miss the playoffs is absolutely unacceptable for that team. The NL Central, you got the Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Pirates, Cardinals. Pirates are always been in a rebuild. The Reds don't really scare me. I honestly, Cardinals are always a tough team. Cubs, but
Cubs are kind of got rid of Bryant. They got rid of Rizzo. They dumped payroll. But they won today, so we'll see. But I think the Cardinals are the clear cut favorite until proven otherwise in that division.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, did Albert Pujols sign back with him to retire? Right, he signed back for a one deal thing.
No.
He's playing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Did his contract end, or they just pay him a lot of money to do nothing nowadays? I mean,
oh no, they gave him a 1-year deal. They gave him a 1-year, $6 million deal or something like that to come back and play for St. Louis, and he's got to. I mean, he can DH now. So there you go.
That's true.
He went 0 for 5 in his debut, but that was home, and that's their deal. And they got Wainwright and Yachty and Pujols all back together. They're trying to put the band back together for one more hoorah run. I don't
one more run
there.
I think it'll
they can win the division.
Yeah,
they can beat Dodgers or the Giants or the Phillies or anything. I don't think they can compete with teams like that.
No, it'll take a magical run like we saw last year with the Braves to pull something off. And I think one thing that baseball has, in my opinion, over other sports is you always see someone else in the World Series. It's not, you don't have one team winning 3 or 4 rings. It's not the Yankees of the past that would do that. And I think that's fantastic. You had the Cubs and Indians a couple years ago. So I really like that. And I like the Braves team. I wish Freddie Freeman would have come back. We'll get into that a little bit later in the headlines of the week here. But I like the players they got. They're a young team. They got a lot of talent. So I'll see if they can try and run that back. But they're in a tough division. The Mets look good. They have talent, which they can put it all together and stay healthy. This is going to be a good year. And I haven't really been so focused on baseball last couple years because I'm a Ranger fan. And we've been rebuilding for 5-6 years now. But we added like I said, we added some players. So hopefully we'll get about 20 more wins and move in that right direction. But your Giants should be good this year, man. So that's good for you.
Yeah. Barring a cataclysmic injury or whatever, they got the pitching staff is pretty much the same, and the lineup is they didn't add anybody really, nothing major. Pretty much brought back what they had, and Longoria is going to miss the first 4 or 5 weeks. He had surgery on his finger, but he'll be back, and they should be good to go.
Should be good. And that's what was interesting last season. They did this with no names. They did this with guys.
It should have been. I mean, their over under was 80 wins, and they win 107 games.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Nobody saw it coming.
Who's your head coach?
I mean, Gabe. So Kapler won a bunch of games in Philly when he was there, but he couldn't. The main fault of Gabe Kapler is the bullpen, and he did it again today. He went out there and goes and gets the guy, and he hadn't let up anything. And next thing you know, it's 3-2, and then the closer lets up a deal. And last I looked, it was 5-5. And they're going to extra innings. So I mean, he's burning these bullpen guys out, and they better have a bunch of them because he's going to use. There was guys in the bullpen that had 100 innings last year. That's just unheard of.
Wow, that's not good.
Yeah, his bullpen management is been in question for years, and that's what got him run out of Philly, and because he was burning guys out. And so we'll see what it ends up. I mean, I like him, but I can't complain about his winning percentage. Yeah. But some of the decision making is questionable.
That's tough because when you see a guy, to me the ultimate. To me, when I look at a coach and how great he is, it's getting you want guys to play to the best of their potential. Can you pull these guys and put them in positions to win and have them play 100% for you? And that's exactly what he did last year with the Giants. These were no-name guys, and they went out and killed it. 107 wins. Hopefully he can tweak that for you guys with his bullpen, but you are set. You are set and good. Now the Dodgers probably win that division.
Unless cataclysmic injury, that lineup is brutal.
The lineup's insane.
Kershaw's on the backside, and then who knows with Walker Buehler and Urias, if any of those guys have an injury or something like that and have to miss a long amount of time, they just don't have a lot of depth. They do have a brutal lineup, but pitching wise, they just don't have a lot of depth. They lost their closer. So that'll be interesting.
I got a question for you about a pitcher for the Dodgers, Trevor Bauer. Will he be back for the Dodgers? Does he want to play with the Dodgers?
I don't think so because of how the clubhouse handled that.
It was horrible. They basically threw him under the bus, right? I mean,
100%. Those guys went onto social media and basically scrubbed him. And when the clubhouse asked about Trevor Bauer, they're like, Trevor who?
Yeah.
We don't even know that guy. Like, I mean, and come to find out, he doesn't get none of the charges stick. He might have a civil suit or whatever. He'll pay some money and it'll go away. But if I'm Bauer, I mean, he's suing MLB for why did I get kicked out of the league? Why did I get blacklisted when I didn't even do nothing? We didn't even let the legal process play out. We didn't anything. All of a sudden, my teammates are bashing me on social media. The league is bashing me. I'm some kind of black sheep that deal, and I didn't even do nothing.
Right.
And so, yeah, that is a very questionable deal. I'm telling you right now, if he's available, we'll let Major League Baseball pay him the money that he owes them. I'll pay him league minimum, and he can come over and play for us any day. Trevor Bauer, as long as you keep the drones away. As long as you keep the drones away from him, he'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll take him on my team any day. And that's something I'm like,
he can be my 5 any day.
Does the Dodgers take him back? And first, does he even want to go back? Because I would not.
So that's what
the way he's been treated.
Yeah, the way they handled that, absolutely not.
Yeah, it was. They threw him under the bus and backed over him. And treated him like he had leprosy or something. It was insane there. Well, That's all we got for the spotlight of the week this week. I hope you guys really enjoy baseball and jump into it. You can see my baseball background I got going on here. So I'm excited for that. We gotta catch a couple games. With love. I need to go see the new stadium. You been to the new Texas Ranger Stadium yet?
Yeah, I've been several times last year.
Nice.
It's beautiful. The Giants came to town and they opened the roof in June, and I said, "Oh, that's what we put the roof on for." But hey, we just whatever we want to do here. No, it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and it's not. I've gone to Houston, and it's very dingy and very dungeony and everything like that. And this stadium doesn't have that. The only thing you lose a little bit is the fireworks. They're not as potent as when
Right.
before because they're indoors. But the stadium itself is beautiful, and I think they're going to have a lot of opportunities now to get some of these guys to sign because they didn't want to come out here and play in this heat that Texas deals with. So now that you have a roof on that stadium, I think you're going to get some big names that come through there, and I think Seager and Simeon are the start of that.
Yeah. That'd be great.
That
Seager said, speaking of Seager, he said one of the reasons he came here was our head coach.
I like him. I'm really
Yeah,
glad they didn't give him a raw deal, and because they gave Bannister a raw deal.
they did. Yeah.
Bannister, he took a team of the band of misfit toys over here and led them to the playoffs, and then they just cut him loose, and he didn't get a fair shake. And trust me, when the Giants hired Kapler, I would not have mind Jeff Bannister. He was in there. His name was on the list, and trust me, I was a big advocate of that happening because he's a baseball guy through and through, and Woodward is the same way. And I think you've got a good one, and I think you need to hold on to him.
You're exactly right. I love his when he talks. I love his mentality and talking about team first. And I really like the guy. And you're exactly right. I'm glad they didn't just say, "Well, you're fired." Well, you haven't given this guy anything to work with, and that's why I haven't gone to a game in 2 years because the ownership refuses to spend money. They can buy a new stadium, but let's not put any players to fill this thing.
That's the same thing with JD. Everybody is
Yeah.
ready to hang that guy from the gallows, and all he's done is what management has given him to work with.
Right.
He goes up there and tells them, "Hey, I got guys I want to sign." They're like, "Okay, well here's some nickels. Work with that." And he's like, "But I can't work with that." And they're like, "Well, you'll figure it out." And so, I mean, I think everybody, John Daniels is terrible. He's trading away the team. Well, that's all he's got to do.
Yeah, he
He
can't do
can't go
anything
sign
else.
guys. He's got to try to build a team of trades.
He's handcuffed, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And the last time they unleashed him, we went to the World Series. So, I
That's something no you don't see very often.
exactly back to back. We've never been ever. I like him and Woody. I think it's fantastic. I wish the owners would sell the team, and I honestly thought after they were talking about it after they built the stadium, selling the team, but I think COVID really killed those ticket numbers. So
Yeah.
I think they'll wait a couple more years and then hopefully sell the team to somebody that gives a dang because it sucks when you. That's kind of like I like how Green Bay is kind of they don't have an owner. They got someone that runs the
Yeah.
ship because you could get one that you hate that you're stuck with, and then you're just kind of SOL. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Especially baseball with the way the money goes. If they're not willing to spend it and they're willing to make it, I mean, Jeter just went and sold his stock in the Marlins, and he made $60 million when he did it in a couple years. I mean, his return on investment was insane. So baseball owners are just, and that's what part of the strike was about. Was these guys in the players going, "Hey, can we get just a little bit? I mean, we're not asking for a ton of it, but we get just a little bit. Don't the minor league, the service time. These guys that like Chris Bryant that they manipulate their service time and stuff to get control over them for 7 years. That's just crazy. And it just all money in the owner's pocket. I don't have to pay you for this. I don't have to arbitration that. It's just let these guys play the game. And I mean, we all know, just like in every sport, There's people that go, I'd play for $30, not 17 million. Yeah, well, the bottom line is the price is the price is. These guys are going to make millions of dollars. The owners are going to make millions of dollars, and the players just want part of what it is.
Yeah, what's fair, right? All right, guys. Well, that is the spotlight of the week. Let's just go ahead and we're going to jump in to the headlines. All right, here, Craig. We got 6. We usually give you 5. We got 6 this week to talk about. We're all over. We got some NBA. We got golf, which I usually don't talk about golf on here. We got more baseball. We got some football as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Number one headline is a joke of the Los Angeles Lakers team, who are officially out of the playoffs. And I'm a Lakers fan, so this one stings. This is probably the worst season in Lakers franchise to me. And I know we've had teams where they've lost more. Hell, Kobe Bryant was on a team that won like 16 games. But to have the talent that the Lakers had, they were actually starting off favored to win, at least go to the championship.
Oh, they were favored to win the West by a million games.
Yeah. Anthony Davis, Westbrook, LeBron James. This is catastrophic there. And we just saw, you actually shared it with me and I posted it out there, that Frank Vogel will be fired at the end of the season. They will part ways with him, which is good. I don't really like Frank Vogel. And all said and done, when we're looking back at the LeBron James era in LA, people are trying to say it's a joke. I don't think it's a joke because they did win a championship. But the question there is, was it considered a real championship? Because the bubble, COVID year, no fans. I'll let you guys debate that. I'm a Laker fan. I'm counting it. Okay. But this is with the amount of superstars they have is such a debacle. LeBron James is a quitter. I told everybody when we got Westbrook over the offseason, it was going to work. I did not like it. People told me I was crazy. Westbrook doesn't work good with any team he goes to. Why did LeBron? And this is what kills me. LeBron goes somewhere and gets the credit when they win, and he's gonna. And when they don't win, it's management. No, this is on LeBron. LeBron put this team together. They are trying to spin it as actually saw this that they are actually trying to spin it on LeBron James' side that he did not want Westbrook, and that's a total joke. This is exactly who he was. He picks the roster, and this is what it is. This is on his shoulders.
100%. I'm glad you said it because I was gonna say it. He wants all the credit when he wins, but when he goes up in flames, it's not him. It's everybody but him. It's happened everywhere he's gone. He tried it in Miami and he wanted Spoelstra fired, and Pat Riley was like, "There's the door," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "You're not going to tell me who my head coach is going to be," and that's the only guy that's going to stand up to him and told him no. He did it in Cleveland. He did it L.A. He comes in and makes all the moves, tries to be GM LeBron, but yet now Vogel's getting fired and LeBron, not me.
Well,
not my problem. And he's sitting there on the bench, hurt, laughing when they get eliminated the other night. It's a joke. It's absolutely.
We have a viewer watching the show and he's actually commenting on here. Let's go ahead. I can show their comments on our live thread here. Patrick Tennyson says, and I think James is sitting out the last game. Yes, he is. He is sitting out. He sat out with an ankle injury last week, last game too. I think Westbrook's sitting out. They only have like 3 games left.
They set, Davis. They set everybody.
Yeah, and
they played Golden State at everybody.
Yeah. Well, you talk about standing up to LeBron. Jeannie Buss is the owner, and the Lakers wanted DeRozan. LeBron said, no, let's get Westbrook. Well, then halfway through, he wanted Westbrook out. And Jeannie Buss stood up to LeBron and said, no, we are not trading Westbrook. This is on you, buddy. I hope
he wants to go.
Who wants to trade for Russell Westbrook?
No, you're not with that contract.
Patrick also says MJ is the GOAT, and that's for sure. And then he says, you guys are handsome. So thank you there, Mr. Patrick Tennyson.
But I mean, he tells Steph he wants to go play with him. Steph's like, nah, I'm good, bro. We got we don't need that.
I hope. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's trying to what he's trying to do is he's just trying to hold on to play with his son. That's all it is.
He's
going to go wherever whoever drafts him.
You got a guy out here openly talking about playing on a different team with his son during the middle of the season when your team's been a joke and it's ridiculous. I posted something the other day about Kobe Bryant. He played that season that he played. They won 16 games. He played with a torn shoulder, freaking broken finger, this and that, and LeBron James injures his ankle on a must-win game to make the playoffs. And you're sitting over there on the bench laughing. It really pisses me off, frankly. And I've never had a guy. I've never liked LeBron. I've never had a guy on my team that I don't like. So it's kind of weird because I want him to win, but I don't root for him personally. It is what it is. It's a little weird of a feeling there, but
Jordan was good and great in his time, and yeah, maybe the best ever. But I'm going to tell you right now, I will take 1,000,000 Kobe Bryants over anybody. He was the first one in the gym. He was the last one out. He outworked everybody, and he made sure you knew it. If he said if he saw somebody, he'd go into the gym and he'd outwork. They'd go home and he'd still be in there shooting, and he was shooting like he was in a game. It wasn't just in there horsing around. He was dribbling through his legs, and he would fly here and fly there and go back and work out. 4 and 5 times a day. The guy was amazing. And
I agree.
The way that ended was absolutely tragic. I'll never forget where I was when I found out. I really hoped it was a hoax, and it wasn't, and it's just terrible.
It is terrible, but you're exactly right. My favorite player of all time is Kobe Bryant. He's the reason I am a Lakers fan. All right. Well, let's jump into headline number 2 here. As we all know, we talked about this when it happened. Brian Flores is suing the NFL, claiming racism in hiring practices. Well, Thursday, 2 more coaches, Steve Wilkes and Ray Horton, are now joining the lawsuit with Flores. Does this add more credibility to the case?
I don't think it hurts. When you sue the NFL, I really thought he'd be blacklisted and wouldn't get another job. He's over there in Pittsburgh and he's coaching in Pittsburgh. And there's a lot of things coming out in all this. There was an article that Malarkey from Tennessee has basically come out and admitted that he was told, you're going to be hired. We're going to go over here and do these interviews for the Rooney Rule. But don't worry, we're not going to hire none of those guys. We're just going to check the boxes. And he said, some of those guys were my friends. He goes, and I feel bad that they had to go and put time in and put the effort into these interviews. And they were never going to get hired. He said, even the guy that did my interview, he looked at me, he goes, why are we here? He goes, didn't they already tell you were hired? And he's told everybody this. It's a black eye for the NFL. Goodell better get a handle on it real quickly because it's not going to be good when it comes down to it.
It's not.
There's going to be a lot of things I think are going to come out that the NFL does not want to come out about their practices and everything like that.
Right. Well, you're exactly right, and like I said, like you said, it's not going to hurt their case. Adding more people to it, and I was wondering if more people would step up. Brian Flores, in my opinion, I thought he was done in the NFL. I was like, this guy's done when he got hired back into Pittsburgh he is definitely overqualified to be the linebackers coach, I think it is, or defensive assistant.
What and you heard the thing, right, is where he's come out now and said they told me to lose games on purpose. So here's Miami with a team that you thought was pretty good, and you wondered why they weren't gelling and everything. Well, now it comes to find out maybe they were able to capability, but he was playing players and losing games. You know how they were taking Tua out in the middle of the game? It didn't make sense. Well, now it does. If they're trying to lose the game,
Well,
that's boy.
yeah.
If they find that out,
Miami's going to
that
sell
owner's going
the
to
owner.
sell
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah. That's one thing to talk about. And if he can prove that,
Yeah.
if he can prove that, I hear the stories about them trying to make him talk to Tom Brady on a boat when it would be tampering, and he refused to do so. And it kind of seems like if the stuff he's talking about is true, that he's getting punished for doing his job. And that is horrible. But I thought Brian Flores did a great job when they fired him. This is the dumbest.
And when he was fired, he made the playoffs both years and then gets fired. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well,
and then all this comes out
Houston
in the
picks
long run.
Love. What's his name? Who's Houston hire as the head coach?
Lovie Smith.
I'm like, no one in their right mind's picking Lovie Smith over Brian Flores.
No.
I honestly think the only reason he has a job is Mike Tomlin, and that's it. So with Brian Flores, this could be a big can of worms that the NFL might want to just pay to go away, because it does not look good for them.
No, absolutely.
And Jeff is a Bronco fan, and Brian Flores said that John Elway showed up late. They showed up drunk to this meeting. It wasn't a real meeting, but Jeff says there's proof that says that John Elway was there early, and that actually every word of their meeting was recorded. So he doesn't know what Brian Flores talked about in Denver. I don't know.
Yeah, I know Elway's been very unsuccessful with quarterbacks. And he was a good one, and he's been for the deal. So them to get one in Russell Wilson, finally maybe they can get it right, because
they're going to be good. They're going to be good.
They haven't so far.
All right, well, headline number 3 of the week is still in the NFL. Frank Gore, longtime NFL running back with 5 different teams ranging from 2005 to 2020, is coming to an end. He's announced he will sign a one-day contract with the 49ers to retire with the team that drafted him. Frank Gore, in one word, is consistent.
It doesn't happen anymore.
No, you don't see that. That doesn't happen. This guy, I believe, has not tore his ACL a couple times, blew up his knee or whatever, and still continue to have such a long career and be good, be consistently good. Will we see him? Will we see him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, absolutely. If he's not, it's a travesty. I mean, he's the 3rd leading rusher in all of NFL. He's 100% a Hall of Famer. I mean, Zeke, Saquon, these guys these days aren't even going to come anywhere near this. And I mean, when he was drafted, he was in a backfield with Willis McGahee and another running back, and they had never even heard of Frank Gore. All those guys are long gone and retired and never even heard of. And Frank Gore's the number 3 leading rusher in all of football. And I mean, for teams that he didn't play for anybody significant. He didn't make a bunch of playoffs. He just played games. And it's something you're just not going to see very often. And I just don't think you see it again.
You won't. And it's because errors have changed. We don't, this is a passing league now. So that hurts the running back position, except in Tennessee, where they run the freaking wheels off of Derrick Henry.
But even him, he's not going to last as long as they're running these guys into the ground.
No, he won't. I'm surprised, honestly, last year that they kept winning without him. I said, well, they got to rely on Tannehill, and it worked all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It worked all the way to the playoffs, and then Tannehill choked it up.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 picks, and, first pass of the game was a pick, and the end one was a pick, and yeah.
Patrick here says Green Bay, this is totally out of the blue, Green Bay should take McCarthy back. That's false. We should not. And Emmitt Smith will have that record for a long time. Look, if Barry Sanders didn't play for the Lions, he would hold that record and it wouldn't even be close.
Well,
But
if he just played a few more years, I
yeah,
mean,
if
it
he
doesn't
just
even
didn't
matter if he
quit,
played.
right?
I mean, look what he had behind that offensive line. If you put him behind the line of the Cowboys or anybody else, he runs circles around.
Oh yeah, literal circles.
Yeah, absolutely. Guy was amazing.
Amazing. My favorite running back of all time. All right. Well, headline number 4, and we don't talk golf on here unless it's freaking Tiger Woods, because that's all you really need to talk about. Tiger Woods is back. He played this weekend. Great to see him back. And I just looked up, and he's not doing too good. He's tied 19th. He has got a +2.
+1 for the tournament. But I mean, if the leader's -8, but second place is -3, so he's only 4 shots off of second place. So and he started off with 4 bogeys in the first 5 holes, and fired back came back on the back 9 and brought it back to birdied 3 of the back 9 to bring it down to just 1.
You know what's interesting with Tiger and some other different people in sports or who are famous. Guys are cheering this guy on, right? They love some Tiger Woods, and I get it. He's the best, and he's the best golfer I've ever seen play. But why are people rooting for him to come back? It's because you look at him. He cheated on his wife with over 100 women. That whole debacle. Then he wrecks his car. This is his. He's coming back after this. He wrecked his car because I think they were hiding something in there that about him. Maybe on smoking something and wrecked his car off a cliff.
Yeah, he was either on his phone or had something in his system. You don't just drive. I mean, it was the dangerous. This highway, part of the highway, has had multiple wrecks, but you just drove off an embankment and went down the hill. Yeah, I mean, it's everything that he's been through in his life is self-inflicted.
Yeah,
but.
And people are like, "Oh, come on, Tiger!" I'm like,
"They're coming back from cancer." Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Well, I told that to Eric today in the truck. I said the same thing, and I go, like, people love Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson went to prison for rape, and now he's like, "Oh, we love some Mike Tyson. He's hilarious." What in the world? That's insane.
Guy bites a box off. No big deal. Put him back.
Goes to prison. Now he's fantastic. I'm like, this is a little weird. But no, I mean, it is good to see him come back. Obviously, I don't want any physical harm for Tiger Woods. I never thought he would golf again after this. He's got rods in his legs.
Simply, he knows Augusta like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
And so he's able to go out there. He knew he won't play the US Open. He won't play the Sawgrass. He won't play any of these. He's not going to go play 50 events a year. He's going to play the courses that he knows, the ones that he built. Augusta, the Augusta, when he won a couple years ago, this course was built for him. It hurts the guys that drive the ball 500 yards these days. They don't do well at Augusta. Going long off the tee hurts you at Augusta. So that's where he can come out and he can lay up and pin up and he knows where to hit it on the green. And I don't think he wins it, but I think he's already won by making the cut. He was plus 120 to make the cut. Yeah. Nobody even thought he'd make the weekend, and he has. And I think he's going to make some noise. And I think if you give him a chance, if Scott Scheffler stumbles a little bit going down the stretch, I mean, he tied for nobody's had a lead like this through 36 holes ever. So 8 under, I mean, it's just unheard of. So if he stumbles a little bit over the weekend, if he catches a bad weather pattern, if it rains when his tee time comes out or doesn't rain and whatever, or gets some wind, I wouldn't, if he's in a hunt on Sunday in Augusta, boy, you don't want to.
Oh, yeah. All the TVs will be on him.
You don't want to play a golf course on Sunday. I'm going to tell you that because people start to get nervous. Here's a guy who won a major with a broken leg. He will if you give him a chance.
Right. And we don't usually talk golf, but when Tiger's involved, he's the Michael Jordan of golf, and you got to talk about him. All right, well, number 5 headline of the week. We bounce back into baseball here, and we talked about this a little bit in the spotlight of the week about the beef between Freddie Freeman and the Braves. Acuna from the Dodgers says Freeman won't be missed. So there was clashes between Freddie and the Dodgers. Everything with this, the Braves seem really salty. I mean, they seem really hurt or butthurt about this, in my opinion. Freddie gave them opportunities. They gave him 2 different contracts. Said, "Hey, this is what I'll play for." They didn't want to. They didn't want to sign that. So I think it's on them that he's gone. Freddie leaves. Maybe there was some beef behind the scenes with Acuna and Freddie. I'm not sure, but everything's coming from Atlanta. It seems like they're salty. You got Chipper Jones out there telling him he should have took less money to play for Atlanta. I'm like, who are you to get in this guy's pocketbook? I don't know. How do you feel about that situation? I just think the Braves come off very salty.
First of all, I was shocked. I mean, this was a done deal. When they won the World Series, Freeman was going to be back, and they were going to run it back. And there was just not when I started reading that he was talking to the Dodgers and talking to the Yankees and everything like that, I'm going, what is this? He's a Brave. He is this. The thing with Acuna, I like Ronald Acuna. He's going to be a really good ball player, but Ronald Acuna needs to just mind his own business, because if Ronald Acuna remembers, he got benched by Snedeker because he didn't run out ground balls, and he flagged fly balls down in the outfield. So yeah, if I'm Freddie Freeman, I'm the captain of the team. I'm the leader of the team. I'm going to tell you that you need to stop hot dogging it. You need to stop going out there and doing things, and you need to get your mind right, because this is where we want to be. And last year they won a World Series, and unfortunately Acuna blew his ACL out, so he wasn't part of that. But the bottom line is Freeman was doing what he was supposed to do as a leader. Now, the eye black thing and holding him down and taking the eye black off his eyes and telling him he can't wear it and all that, I don't know if any of that's true. But if that's the case, then that's a whole nother can of worms that we don't want to get into. But the original deal is, yeah, I mean, Acuna has been benched, physically taken out of baseball games because he didn't try. And if you don't want to try, well, then you're not going to be on my team. And so the money for the Braves, Chipper Jones piping in and all this stuff, it's shocking to me, because if I win a World Series and Freddie Freeman is the base
face
of that,
Yeah.
I'm paying him whatever he wants. And he was an all-star, the leader of that team, and I think they're going to miss him dearly. And I think it hurts my heart that he went to L.A., because that makes that team that much better, because Freddie Freeman is light years better than what they had over at first base.
not even close. And I don't understand it. When I heard that he said, "Hey guys, I'll come back and play for this." Okay, you didn't like that? I'll come back and play for this. Okay, well then I'm just not coming back, and you got this and that. I'm going, my gosh, the Braves seem salty. This was the face of your World Series team, the leader. And y'all treating them like that on the way out the door is insane.
Shocking. Yeah.
It's almost, did you see what I got to ask you this. I talked about it, I think last week. Did you see what Atlanta did to Matt Ryan?
No.
Okay. Well, they traded him to Indy. They traded Indy. They had a longer goodbye tribute for Drew Brees than Matt Ryan. How do you get that thing? How do you get it that wrong? Your competitive rival quarterback, you give this big long over a minute and like 20-second video goodbye, and your own quarterback, you're just like, yeah, it was like 40 seconds. See you.
See you, Matt. Thanks for coming.
How do people get things so wrong? I don't understand it, man.
I was shocked when they traded him. I mean, and they traded him for next to nothing. I mean, they didn't get much for him. So
I was shocked that they didn't go after Baker Mayfield. What, you get him? You get Marcus Mariota? Come on.
Well, I don't think Mayfield's available because Cleveland's holding on to him. Because keep in mind, there's going to be a suspension still, so they've got a quarterback, but he's going to miss probably 6 or 7 games. That's just not going to go away. So you're going to hold on to Baker Mayfield. If I'm Mayfield, I'm telling them, nah, that ain't how that works, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not going. If I'm not good enough to play, I'm not good enough to play. But you want me to hang around and while Deshaun gets suspended and then I can go somewhere? That to me is wrong. They're doing Baker wrong. Hey, we're gonna go get Deshaun, but we're gonna need you to hold the fort down while he's suspended.
He's the best quarterback they've had in Cleveland since when? Forever? Decades? I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, there used to be in the jersey of all the draft picks that get 17 names on it, and none of them still there. They never even got a second contract, and Baker might not either now.
What's crazy because I thought it was an interesting question because I like Baker. I like his gut and he gives it all out in the field. But I just don't think he's good enough to be that guy to lead this team to the Super Bowl. So I'm like, do the Browns literally get rid of the best quarterback they've ever had? And the answer is yes, because eventually they're going to be trading him out the door. We got another question here from Patrick, and it's a really good one. Is Matt Ryan going to be good in his new team? I honestly think the Colts will be better. Carson Wentz wasn't good. Matt Ryan can put up good numbers. Is he going to be good enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. I do think this makes him better. Matt Ryan, I'm not sure of his numbers last season. They were pretty bad last year, but I think he still put up decent numbers. And he's the last couple of years.
He'll have
production.
In Indianapolis is protection. He will have time to throw the football. And Matt Ryan has always been, if you give him time, he will pick you apart. And in the Super Bowl, that showed. And then all of a sudden, the second that he didn't have time, we all saw what happened. So I think if you get him some weapons, he's going to need another wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton is up and down, and they really just don't have anybody else. So I think they're going to need to draft a wide receiver or trade for maybe Debo or one of these guys that are still available. But I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll really make a lot of noise.
Yeah, and he's got a good rushing attack there and a good offensive line, and they got a good defense. This team is missing the number one thing they need.
They're in a division that's tough.
Yeah, they're in a tough division. Like I said, I think he's an upgrade over Wentz any day. I think Wentz is kind of done. Speaking of Wentz, it's his last chance in Washington there.
I was happy to see him come back to the East. That's a couple free.
Yeah, no Cowboy fans. Yeah, no Cowboy fans is dreading that at all. But I do think Matt Ryan will help this team win. I just don't think he's their Super Bowl contender with him. And I feel bad for them. This team, the Colts fans, because they finally got a team together, and their all-star quarterback Luck just walks away from them
in the middle of the preseason game. Goes, deuces, I'm out.
And they're booing him. That wasn't supposed to hit yet. And I just thought that was like, holy crap. So I feel bad for the Colts fans. Yeah, way to go, PR. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you there, Patrick, giving us these questions and tuning into the show there. Number 6. We only usually give you 5, but we got 6 because I had to bring this up to. Number 6 is NBA Commissioner Silver is examining the dangerous trend that the star players are sitting out of games. It's called, what is it? Time management. And the star players like LeBron and Kawhi Leonard's really bad at it, are sitting out. And
Kawhi's the one that started it.
Yeah.
He started it in San Antonio.
Basically. It's a bad look for the NBA. Let's just
back.
When you look at all these sports, okay, we all know NFL dominates. Okay, that's just is. They dominate every sport in ratings. It's not even close. There's nothing going to compete with them. baseball and NBA are searching for viewers. NBA got hurt, and honestly, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I honestly think it's because they're the most woke sport around. And I think that hurt them a lot. But this isn't a good look either, right? You have your star players, you got fans that pay a lot of money that come and see these guys. You talk about Michael Jordan back in the day saying, "I got to go play for the guy who bought tickets for the seats." There's not that anymore. These star players sitting out, and you're not getting to see your favorite guys and to play these games, and that's why I honestly think we've missed the best era of basketball growing up was the MJ era and those teams and the Magic and the Lakers back in the day. The NBA's gotten a little softer, but what are they going to do? I don't know what the answer to this is. I saw who was it? I sent it to you the other day, Craig, but I can't think of his name. Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
He was going over ways to fix the NBA ratings, and I thought they were all fantastic. And one of those things was you have to play a minimal number of games to get awards at the end of the year. MVP, all those things. I think that should be implemented. That'd be fantastic. It'd force guys to get out there and play.
Absolutely. I think you need to get rid of there's a way to extend it out that you're not running into another season and you're not going to compete against the NFL or not compete against baseball or whatever. There's a way to you got to get rid of the back-to-backs because that's where these guys are finding the loopholes and sitting out is the back-to-backs. Is they don't want to play back-to-back games. Well, I mean, Major League Baseball, we're playing 162, play a bunch of back-to-backs. Sometimes play twice in one day. And you ain't seeing Mike Trout sit down. You ain't seeing Shohei Ohtani sit down and take days off. They might take a day if there's a day game after a night game type deal. You might see your veteran get a day there. But these guys are on average. A lot of these guys are playing 120, 130 games of the 162. Old Bron over there played what? 52, 55. I mean, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it ain't nowhere near 82. I promise you that.
Right.
And how many of them? I mean, these guys are finding ways of, well, my toe hurts, because the NBA tried to crack down on it and tried to say, you got to justify being hurt, and the players just found a way. And it's just it's sad because that's why I don't go to the NBA because to go spend what they want for tickets 70, 80, $100 a night and then another 40 to park and Curry and Draymond and all the guys are sitting on the bench. Luka's sitting out. Porzingis is sitting out. I mean, Porzingis played. That's why they tried to trade him. I mean, he played an eighth of the games that he was here. I mean, it's just insane. Load management.
Load management. When you talk, I mean, play the game. Yeah, you get paid millions, millions and millions.
It doesn't affect their paycheck. If they miss, if they're not going to get paid, I bet they don't load management then.
Right. And that was one of Colin Cowherd's. It was lower the number of games to 68, I think it was. Get rid of back-to-backs.
Add another month to the season, play your 82, but just make it to where you don't have back-to-backs or only have one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, baseball took a hit on ratings. Honestly think analytics is the reason why baseball's taking such a hit on ratings. And
a lot of people don't.
Say it again, sorry.
A lot of people don't understand the analytics. They don't get into that.
Basketball for me, I honestly think it's Steph Curry. I hate Steph Curry for it. Everyone's shooting threes. It's a 3-point contest. There's no big down low game. You got Giannis out here taking 3-point shots. I'm like, what's going on out here? But there's a lot of different reasons. It's just not a good look. When you're looking for ratings, it's a terrible look when you got your star players sitting out, and it's for nothing.
Defense is gone, though. I mean, there's just no – I mean, you look at these NBA scores, 128, 124, I mean, it's shootout. There is no games like back when Jordan and Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and all those guys played. It was 89-85. I mean, it was there. If you scored 100, then you did something right. And they're just it's who's got the ball last. I mean, it's just guys pulling up at the logo and Lillard and them, pulling up just 2 steps inside a half court. I mean, it's crazy. There's no rebounding, there's no defense, there's no passing, there's no screens, there's nothing. It's insane.
Yes, Patrick. Larry Bird shot threes, and he is really fun to watch. But Larry Bird also wasn't a center either, So, but I just missed that era of basketball. I think that was the greatest of all time. We won't see that ever again. Say it again, Craig.
I said the center is going to win the MVP 2 years in a row. Jokic is going to win the MVP back-to-back. He's the last one left.
He's a beast. Giannis is there, but Giannis is trying to shoot more threes, and he's a beast, though. A beast. I mean, all right, Craig. Well, that is it for the episode today. We already finished headlines. We got the spotlight of the week. We're both looking forward to baseball season. Probably more you than me. I got to give it to you, Craig. Craig watches all 162 games of his Giants. I don't know anybody else who watches all 162 games. That is.
I get 2 hours. I got we're gonna be there.
That
kind of watch West Coast. Texas is.
Oh yeah, Laker fan. I can barely catch games this year, so I feel your pain.
Start at 9. We're all right.
Craig puts in that dedication as a fan. I like that about him. That deserves an award. 162 games, and he's there for all of them.
Trying tomorrow how to watch the game. I'm gonna have to charge my phone while I'm at the band competition, and have it on the phone and Bluetooth it,
Yeah. All right. Well, sir, do you have anything for the What's in Your Locker segment? Would you like to share anything this week?
Well, I mean, I'm outside of work and sports. I bowl about 3 times a week, and we got Travel League coming up Sunday, and it's actually in the house I bowl in, so that'll be
home field advantage.
We can't, it'll help. It won't hurt. And so 6 games over there to try to lock that down. It'll go in about another month, and we're ready. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to baseball getting started and watching some baseball games, and hoping this season goes the way last year did, except for the first round elimination by the arch rival Dodgers. So what else you got coming this week?
Well, as of late, I've been eating healthier and working out at home. I ended up getting a bike at home and a row machine, and that row machine kicks my butt. And I've been working out. I've tried to do it every day. I've been slacking the last couple of days, but it is what it is. I've been eating healthier. Ask Eric, and over there snacking on carrots like a freaking bunny rabbit. Other than that, not much. We had a cookout at work today, and got to hang out and play cornhole, and that was great and eat good food. Me and the wife are watching a new show. It's called Moon Knight, and it's on Netflix. Or no, it's on Disney. My bad. And it's actually really good. Yeah. There's only like 2 episodes out. I didn't know about it, and it's actually really good. It's a new Marvel character. I didn't even know who he is. I'm like, why do they keep coming up with these guys? But it is actually pretty funny. So if you want to guys want to check that out. But we got some changes, guys, coming to the show. We're super excited about it. One of them is Craig, obviously, jumping onto with us tonight. Like I said, he will be on our show on Tuesdays on a regular basis. Me and him will lock down the Tuesday episode. Jeff will usually be on Friday. And then if Jeff can't make it, I will add in Craig and do a show together. We got some different changes coming up. I can't tell them to you yet, but we're excited about it and the direction we're headed. We're just trying to grow the show. We appreciate you guys that have taken time out of your night to watch us live. We stream live to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and then we're on all podcast platforms as well. So if you like this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends. If you have any questions for us, you can actually jump on live, as we saw here, as we added up the chat here, and talk to us during the show, or you can email us at outspoken sportscast@gmail.com. If you got any questions, anything that you want to talk about, sports related or non, we're here for you. That come on our Facebook. Craig is nicknamed Mr. ESPN because he will text me stories that break, and I'm like, I'll look on ESPN. It's not even there yet. I don't know how he does it. That's one of the reasons I added him on the show. He's a content creator, so keep doing that up, Craig. It's a fantastic job for you, buddy. And that's it. Your first episode. This is episode 109. Take me out to the ball game, but glad to have you on, man.
Hey, and looking forward to Tuesdays, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this episode. Have a good night. Have a good weekend, and God bless.